Most people spend their entire lives waiting. Waiting for someone to tell them they're good enough, waiting for someone to believe in them, waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right moment of clarity that never really comes. And in all that waiting, they forget the truth. The only permission you ever needed was your own. You have within you a force that is more powerful than any approval you could ever receive from the outside world. It's not loud, it's not showy, it doesn't beg for attention, but it's always there, quietly waiting for you to wake up and realize that you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to lead your own life, to carve your own path, to own your story with all its scars, triumphs and contradictions. But that won't happen until you stop looking outward for something that has to be claimed from within. See, power isn't about dominance or control. It's about presence. It's about being rooted in who you are, even when the world tries to shake you. It's about standing tall in your truth without asking if it makes others uncomfortable. Power isn't a thing you chase. It's something you allow yourself to be. And for that to happen, you've got to stop seeking permission. Stop waiting for someone to clap for you before you make your next move. Stop waiting for the perfect resume, the ideal circumstances, the person to validate your voice. None of that makes you powerful. What makes you powerful is the moment you decide that you matter, not because someone told you, but because you chose to believe it and act accordingly. That's when you stop being a passive observer in your life and start becoming the architect of it. You've got dreams. Now stop treating them like delicate fantasies. Treat them like assignments, like something that was entrusted to you. Not the version of you people find palatable, but the real, raw, sometimes messy version that's tired of holding back. Own that. Claim your space. Speak like your voice deserves to be heard, because it does. Walk into the room like you belong there, because you do. This isn't arrogance. This is alignment. And let me tell you something. People won't always like it. Some will misunderstand your power for ego. Others will try to shrink it because it mirrors the courage they haven't yet found in themselves. That's okay. It's not your job to be digestible. It's your job to be real. Power doesn't apologize for existing. It just is. And the people who are meant to rise with you, they'll see you, not just the version that makes them comfortable, but the truth of who you are. And they'll respect it, even if it intimidates them at first. So if you've been waiting for a green light, here it is. You are it. The call is not coming from outside, it's coming from that whisper in your soul that says, you were born for more. You were not meant to tiptoe through life, hoping not to offend anyone with your great. You were meant to lead, to serve, to build, to create, to shake the foundations of mediocrity until something unshakable rises in its place. And look, no one's saying it will be easy. Claiming your power means taking responsibility for your life. It means owning your decisions, your past, your pain, and refusing to let them define your limits. It means rising even when it hurts, even when no one is clapping, even when you're afraid. But that's what makes you unshakable. That's what makes you unstoppable. Power is forged in fire, not handed out like candy. So stop waiting. Stop shrinking. Stop thinking that someone else holds the keys to your freedom. They don't. You do. You always did. And the moment you start walking like it, talking like it, and living like it, that's the moment the world starts to respond differently to you. Not because it changed, but because you did. You want to be powerful? Then stop playing small. You want to be unshaken? Then stop bending for every opinion. You want to be unstoppable? Then stop waiting for someone to give you what you've already got. You are the permission. You are the power. You are the one. That's the moment everything begins. When the world around you is spinning, when people are panicking, the pressure is rising, and it feels like everything is out of your control, what do? Most people react. They match the chaos. They let the external noise dictate their internal state. But if you want to be powerful, unshaken, and truly unstoppable, you have to train your mind to do the exact opposite. You have to condition yourself to be the calm in the storm, not another piece of debris flying in the wind. Calmness isn't passivity, it's not weakness, it's not ignorance of the stakes. In fact, it's the highest form of strength. Anyone can panic. Anyone can lash out, blame others, or collapse under pressure. But calm, that's earned. That's a discipline. That's the result of training your mind to detach from chaos and stay rooted in clarity. And that training doesn't happen in ideal conditions. It happens in the chaos. It happens when your plans are falling apart, when someone's pushing your buttons, when life throws you a curveball and you're tempted to scream, run, or give up. Those moments are your training ground. That's when you teach your mind how to breathe through it, observe without immediately reacting, and respond with intention, not emotion. You've got to learn to slow down the internal narrative. Because most chaos is not out there, it's in here. The stories we tell ourselves about what's happening are what fuel the stress, the anger, the fear. But when you pause, when you look at the moment without judgment, without panic, you take back control. You start seeing options instead of obstacles. You shift from being a victim of your circumstances to being the master of your response. Now, let's be honest. This isn't natural at first. The world doesn't teach calm. It teaches urgency. It rewards the loudest voice, the fastest reaction, the most dramatic response. But what it really needs, what you really need, is the power that comes from silence, from stillness, from thinking clearly while everyone else is losing their heads. That kind of mental discipline requires repetition. It means catching yourself in the moment, before you snap, before you spiral, before you make a decision you'll regret, and choosing a different path. It means developing habits that anchor you in peace, waking up early to be alone with your thoughts, practicing breath control when stress hits, questioning your reactions before you act on them. It's in the small moments, day after day, that you carve out this inner fortress of calm. And here's the secret. When your mind is calm, you become incredibly dangerous. In the best way. You can't be manipulated. You don't fall into emotional traps. You stop overreacting to petty things and start conserving your energy for what actually matters. People around you start to feel that too. They sense that you're grounded, that you won't be easily shaken. That kind of energy is magnetic. It commands respect, not through fear, but through presence. The most powerful people in history, the most effective leaders, the most resilient warriors, they all understood this. They didn't let the external storm decide their inner weather. They stood in the fire with their minds clear, focused, composed. That's the level of power you unlock when you train yourself to stay calm in chaos. You become the person everyone turns to, not because you have all the answers, but because you're the one who isn't rattled by the questions. So the next time chaos comes knocking, don't react. Recognize it as your training ground. Use it. Let it refine your mind like a blade under pressure. Breathe, observe, choose. Because every time you stay calm when others break, every time you respond instead of react, you build the muscle of inner strength that no crisis can ever touch. And once you master that, there is no force, no person, no challenge that can truly knock you off course. You become untouchable, not because the world is peaceful, but because you are. That's when your power, becomes real. When you're walking through fire, when life is testing you, when the people around you don't believe in what you're building, it is your vision that becomes your shield, your weapon, your compass. If you want to be powerful, unshaken, and unstoppable, you need a vision so clear, so vivid, so consuming that it silences every whisper of doubt inside you. A vision so real in your mind that the outside world's disbelief becomes irrelevant. See, people talk about discipline and consistency and hard work, and yes, all of that matters. But if you don't have a strong enough why, if you don't see the outcome burning in front of you like it's already done, then discipline crumbles when adversity strikes. But when the vision is alive in your bones, you can take the hits, you can keep showing up, you can outlast failure. That's the difference. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they can't see past their current reality. Their vision is too vague, too foggy, too influenced by the noise around them. They look at where they are and let that define what they believe is possible. But greatness doesn't start with evidence. It starts with belief. It starts with a decision. It starts with a vision that's so detailed, so emotionally charged, that it becomes more real to you than the obstacles in front of you. And here's the thing. Your vision doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. In fact, if it's truly bold, it won't make sense to most people. They'll tell you it's too much. They'll ask you to be realistic. They'll project their fears onto your dreams. That's not your burden to carry. Let them stay small. Let them doubt. But you build your vision like a fortress. Visit it every day. Speak it into existence. Feel it in your gut. Because when you have that kind of vision, it gives you power in the dark moments. When you're tired, it reminds you why you started. When you're alone, it reminds you who you're becoming. When you're misunderstood, it reminds you that being misunderstood is the price of leading yourself somewhere new. That vision becomes your inner fire, and nothing outside of you can extinguish it once it's lit. But you have to protect it. You can't let fear dilute it. You can't let temporary setbacks shrink it. And you definitely can't wait for the world to validate it before you believe in it. That's not how warriors operate. You build the vision. You believe it fully, and then you go out and earn it. Not through begging, not through hoping, through action. Relentless, committed, purpose-driven act. This is where most people lose it. They think clarity comes from circumstances lining up. It doesn't. Clarity comes from creating your vision and repeating it to yourself every single day, whether the world gives you permission or not, whether your bank account reflects it or not, whether your current environment supports it or not. You see it anyway. You act like it's real, and eventually your external world starts catching up to your internal belief. A strong vision gives your struggle meaning. It transforms pain into fuel. It makes sacrifice feel noble instead of draining. When the world is loud with opinions, your vision quiets the noise. It reminds you who you are. It reminds you where you're going. It pulls you through the chaos, through the setbacks, through the isolation. And when doubt comes, and it will come, don't fight it with empty affirmations, fight it with your vision. Let your vision be loud. Let it carry more emotional weight. Let it drown out the noise. Doubt is powerless when you're locked in on where you're headed. So if you're serious about becoming unstoppable, don't just set a goal, build a vision that moves you, one that shakes you, one that demands everything from you. Then protect it with your life. Feed it, focus on it. Let it drive how you move, how you think, how you show up when no one's watching. Because when your vision becomes louder than your fears, nothing can hold you back. That's when you become a force no resistance can stop. If you're serious about becoming powerful, unshaken, and unstoppable, then you have to stop treating your energy and your environment like they don't matter, because they do. They're everything. You can have the best intentions, the boldest goals, and the clearest vision, but if your energy is scattered and your environment is dragging you down, you're never going to touch the heights you're meant for. You've got to get ruthless about what gets access to you. That means people, habits, inputs, surroundings, all of it. Too many people walk around wondering why they feel drained, uninspired, distracted. The answer is usually right in front of them. They're just too afraid to confront it. They're afraid to set boundaries, to cut ties, to leave familiar places and faces behind. But I'll tell you this straight, you can't carry dead weight and expect to fly. Look at your life like a sacred space. Your time, your attention, your mindset, that's your temple. Every time you let negativity slide, every time you tolerate chaos, every time you allow someone's draining energy to linger around you, you are giving away pieces of your power. And if you do that long enough, don't be surprised when you feel like you've got nothing left to give to your dreams. You've got to get intentional, deliberate, strategic. You need to take inventory. Who around you lifts you up and who just adds noise? What spaces make you feel focused and calm, and which ones make you feel small or distracted? What daily habits energize you and which ones are just stealing your life force? This isn't about being cold, it's about being committed. You can't serve your higher calling if you're constantly in environments that pull you back to your lower self. You're not here to keep everyone comfortable. You're not here to explain yourself to people who don't understand your journey. You're here to build something bigger than comfort. You're here to step into your own greatness. And that demands a clean space, mentally and physically. And it's not just the obvious toxic people or cluttered rooms, it's also the subtle energy leaks that you've normalized. Mindless scrolling, gossip, worrying about what others think, bouncing from task to task with no presence. It all chips away at your strength. It makes you reactive instead of intentional. It turns you into a consumer of noise instead of a creator of change. You've got to reclaim your energy like it's your life currency, because it is. Every moment spent in the wrong frequency is a moment stolen from your purpose. And make no mistake, energy is contagious. If you hang around 5 people who constantly complain, guess who becomes the 6th? If you stay in a place that operates on low standards, you will unconsciously adapt to those standards. But the opposite is also true. When you start guarding your energy like gold, you elevate. You start attracting better. You stop settling. You begin to operate from a higher state of being, and that's where power lives. Start with the simple things. Clean your space. Turn off the noise. Take back your mornings. Create routines that make you feel strong. Say no more often. Protect your mental clarity like it's sacred, because it is. When you take care of your environment, both internal and external, you create a foundation that can carry you through anything. And yes, some people won't like it. They'll call you distant, selfish, different. Let them. That's the cost of elevation. That's the cost of stepping into the life you were actually meant to live. Most people choose comfort over growth. You're not most people. You're here to rise. You're here to lead yourself, and to do that, you need to be surrounded by clarity, not clutter. By energy, not noise. By vision, not distractions. This is your reminder that it's not selfish to protect your peace. It's not rude to say no. It's not arrogant to walk away from low-energy spaces. It's necessary. Because the most powerful version of you doesn't exist in chaos, it exists in alignment. and alignment requires discipline. So cut what drains you, guard what fuels you, build an environment where your greatness has room to breathe, and watch how unstoppable you become. Most people see a setback and stop. They hit a wall and think it means turn around, go home, give up. But if you want to be powerful, truly unshaken and unstoppable, you have to change how you look at failure. You have to rewire your response to pain, rejection, loss, embarrassment, and defeat. Because if you don't, those setbacks will own you. They'll define you. But if you do, if you learn how to turn every single one into a weapon, then nothing can break you. Not really. They can wound you, sure. They can slow you down, throw dirt on your name, count you out. But they can't stop you, because you've made the decision. Nothing you go through will be wasted. The truth is, most people waste their pain. They sit in it, drown in it, replay it, complain about it. But pain is just raw material. It's energy, it's fuel waiting to be shaped. And the people who rise, the ones who become unstoppable, they don't let that energy rot. They convert it. They forge something with it. The betrayal becomes clarity. The loss becomes perspective. The failure becomes wisdom. The pain becomes power. It's not about what happens to you. It's about what you decide to do with what happens. You've been through things you thought would break you, and you're still here. You've faced things that shook your soul. But you're breathing. You're thinking. You're growing. That's not weakness. That's raw, undeniable power. You didn't fold. You adapted. You stood back up, maybe slower, maybe quieter, maybe bruised, but you stood. And that's all that matters. Because every time you stand back up, you're not standing as the same person who fell. You're standing as someone sharper, stronger, harder to knock down. Setbacks are teachers. Brutal, relentless, uncompromising teachers. But they're also honest. They show you what you're really made of. They strip away the ego. They reveal what's solid and what's still soft. And if you face them with courage instead of self-pity, you come out forged, tempered, battle-tested. That kind of strength can't be faked. It has to be earned. And it only gets earned in the trenches. But here's the difference between those who become unstoppable and those who stay stuck. The unstoppable ones don't personalize the pain. They don't let the setback become their identity. They don't say, "This happened, so I must be a failure." They say, "This happened, so what can I learn?" That shift in mindset, that moment where you stop playing the victim and start playing the alchemist, that's when your life starts to change. That's when you become dangerous, because now every blow thrown at you gets recycled into strength. People will look at you and see calm. They'll see power. They'll ask how you do it. And you'll know it's because you've taken hit after hit and never wasted a single one. You've turned heartbreak into insight, rejection into motivation, delay into patience, struggle into hunger. And not in some poetic way, but in a real, daily, relentless kind of way. The kind of way that builds grit so deep it can't be shaken by anything external. Don't hide your scars, sharpen them. Let them remind you that you've survived worse. Let them teach you how to move differently, think differently, act more decisively. You don't become strong by avoiding difficulty. You become strong by walking through it with your eyes open, knowing it's shaping you. That doesn't mean you enjoy it. It means you own it. You use it. You want to know the secret to becoming unstoppable? It's not just talent. It's not luck. It's not having the perfect plan. It's having the courage to keep moving forward when everything in you wants to quit. It's choosing not to crumble when life hits you in the mouth. It's deciding again and again, that you will rise, no matter what. Even if it takes time, even if it hurts, even if no one believes in you yet, especially then. So next time life knocks you down, and it will, don't ask why me. Ask what now. Don't look for someone to save you. Look in the mirror and realize you've been the weapon all along. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a fierce decision. A decision to not let your pain go to waste. To take every loss, every failure, every heartbreak, and turn it into fire, into fuel, into momentum. Because when you learn to do that, when you stop fearing setbacks and start using them, you don't just survive. You evolve, you sharpen, you rise, and you become something the world can't ignore, something unshaken, something unstoppable. Perfection is a beautiful lie. It's the illusion that keeps people stuck, paralyzed by the weight of not good enough, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of themselves to finally take action. And in that waiting, they waste time, they waste years, they waste life. If you want to be powerful, unshaken, unstoppable, you've got to let go of that illusion and obsess over something far more valuable. Progress. Progress is the real game. Progress is movement. It's not flawless. It's not always pretty. Sometimes it's clumsy. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes no one even notices. But it's real. Progress is you showing up on the days you don't feel like it. Progress is choosing the hard thing instead of the comfortable thing. Progress is doing one more rep when your body wants to quit. It's reading one more page, writing one more sentence, taking one more step. That's what builds power. Not perfection, but relentless forward motion. The need to be perfect will destroy your momentum. It'll keep you constantly second-guessing yourself. It'll make you compare your journey to everyone else's highlight reel. It'll convince you that if you're not great now, you might as well not even try. And that mindset, that's the real failure. Because nothing great was ever built without mistakes, without failure, without days of doubt, frustration, and trial. You have to fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. The ones who rise in life are not the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who stay consistent, who stay in the fight, who adjust and grow and refine every single day. And to do that, you've got to change your definition of success. Success isn't I did it perfectly. It's I did it anyway. It's I learned something today. It's I'm better than I was last week. That's power. That's self-mastery. That's the foundation of greatness. Too many people are chasing an image, a polished version of themselves that doesn't exist yet. They post the wins, they share the highlights, but behind the curtain, they're scared, they're exhausted. Because perfection is impossible to sustain. But progress gives you peace. Progress lets you breathe. It says, I don't have to be there yet, I just need to keep going. You've got to stop letting the gap between where you are and where you want to be defeat you. That gap is not your enemy, it's your map. It's showing you the work, it's calling you into discipline, into focus, into persistence. Let it fuel you, let it push you. Obsess over how far you've come, not how far you have to go. Track your growth, see your own resilience. And when you fall short, don't quit, don't crumble. Learn, adapt, evolve. Every master was once a beginner. Every leader was once uncertain. Every legend was once unknown. The only difference is they didn't stop. They didn't need to be perfect to be powerful. They just kept showing up again and again. Quietly, relentlessly. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like showing up to the gym tired. Sometimes it's saying no to old habits. Sometimes it's putting your phone down and doing the hard thing. It's not about applause, it's about alignment. With your mission, your values, your future self. You don't build an unshakable life by aiming for perfection. You build it by stacking thousands of imperfect days, fueled by purpose, grounded in vision, driven by the hunger to become something greater. Let the world chase the illusion. You focus on the work, focus on the climb. Measure yourself against who you were yesterday, not against someone else's mountaintop. The truth is, perfection is an ego game. Progress is a soul game. One looks good, the other feels good. One is about appearances, the other is about transformation. Choose the one that actually changes you. If you can fall in love with progress, if you can value your evolution more than your image, then you'll become unstoppable, because no matter what happens, you'll keep moving. And that kind of momentum is untouchable. It builds confidence, it builds self-respect, and it builds a life that can't be shaken by failure, rejection, or delay. So forget perfect. Chase growth. Chase truth. Chase effort. One day, you'll look back and realize the version of yourself you once dreamed about wasn't created by a flawless plan, but by daily, quiet, powerful progress that never stopped. Let that be your obsession. Let that be your edge. Let that be your legacy.